The personality rights is something that felt interesting for me. What exactly is that?
It's very interesting when you spoke about Anil Kapoor. He recently filed a trademark for the word Jhakaas. Allu Arjun. Now he has protected his signature style, AA. There were a lot of Gupta companies who were using his baritone.
I'm just recalling the recent discussions happening with Nayanthara and Dhanush. What actually is that situation? Burger King Pune, which is not Burger King, and Burger King then found out that this guy in Pune is actually damaging the reputation of Burger King.
It's a very common thing which is happening on a daily basis.
What actually can be trademarked?
Indian IPL franchisee, Kolkata Knight Riders.
Once the product is out into the market, within a week, he will see the same amount of products with the same specifications coming into market by different brands.
If you go to certain parts of certain cities, you will see the same goods which...
Exact goods. Exact same. No one can actually understand whether it's original or first copy.
True. So
a lot of people turn engineers to lawyers. వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు ఇంటాక్స్. సో చాలా ఇదివరకు లాస్ట్ పాడ్కాస్ట్ లాగా దిస్ పాడ్కాస్ట్ యాజ్ వెల్ కొంచెం ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్గా ఉండబోతుంది. సో ఎప్పుడైనా సరే చిన్న బిజినెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు, ఒక బిజినెస్ మనం స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆబ్వియస్లీ నేమ్ పెట్టుకుంటాం, మంచి లోగో డిజైన్ నేర్చుకుంటాం, ఎక్కడెక్కడి నుంచో తెచ్చుకుంటాం కదా కాపీ చేసుకోవడానికి. అందరూ చేసేదే, మేము కూడా చేసేదే. చేసిన తర్వాత ఒక స్టేజ్లో మంచిగా గ్రో అవుతుంది బిజినెస్. గ్రో అయిన ప్రాసెస్లో మనకు ఒక లీగల్ నోటీస్ వస్తుంది. నా నేమ్ నువ్వెందుకు వాడుతున్నావు, నా లోగో నువ్వెందుకు వాడుతున్నావు. అది ఎందుకు వస్తుందో తెలియని టైంకల్లా మన బిజినెస్ స్టక్ అయిపోయి మన బిజినెస్ డౌన్ అయిపోద్ది ఒక్క లీగల్ పేపర్ వల్ల. దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ ట్రేడ్ మార్క్, పేటెంట్, కాపీ రైట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఒక బ్రాండ్ గ్రో అవుతున్నప్పుడు మనం స్థలం కొంటే ఎంత ఎసెట్ పెరుగుతుందో మనకి ఇండివిజువల్గా, ఒక బ్రాండ్కి ఎసెట్సే ట్రేడ్ మార్క్స్, కాపీ రైట్స్, పేటెంట్స్. ఇవి తెలియకుండా ఎవరైతే బిజినెస్ చేస్తూ గ్రో చేసుకుందాం అనుకుంటారో వాళ్ళకి ఈ పాడ్కాస్ట్. ఎస్, ఒక ట్రేడ్మార్క్ ప్రాసెస్లో మనం ఒక లోగోని ఎంతవరకు తీసుకెళ్ళగలచ్చు, దాని వ్యాలిడిటీ ఏంటి, ఎన్ని క్లాసెస్లో అప్లై చేయొచ్చు. చాలామంది చార్టెడ్ అకౌంటెంట్కి ఒక 9,000, 10,000 ఇచ్చేస్తే ట్రేడ్మార్క్ అయిపోతుంది, గ్లోబల్లీ రికగ్నైజ్డ్ అయిపోద్ది అనుకుంటారు. కానీ ఇట్స్ నాట్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఫ్యాక్ట్. వీటికి సంబంధించి మనం ఒక బుక్ రాసినప్పుడు కాపీరైట్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, వేరే వాళ్ళు కాపీ కొట్టినప్పుడు దాని ప్రాసెస్ ఏంటి, చాలామందికి తెలియదు. ఇవన్నీ ఈ పాడ్కాస్ట్లో డిస్కస్ చేసుకుందాం, బట్ విత్ అ లిటిల్ డిఫరెంట్ కాంటెక్స్ట్. ఈ వచ్చే గెస్ట్ హీస్ ఫ్రమ్ నార్త్ వెస్ట్ త్రిపుర నుంచి వచ్చి హైదరాబాద్లో సెటిల్ అయ్యి హీఈస్ నవ్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ కంపెనీస్ ఇన్ ఇండియా, Bizrights IP LLP. ఈజ్ అన్ ఇంటలెక్చువల్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఎక్స్పర్ట్. మన పుష్ప 2 కానివ్వండి, ఆల్ మైత్రి మూవీ మేకర్స్, కాపీరైట్ థింగ్స్ దగ్గర నుంచి హెట్రోకెమికల్స్, హెట్రోఫార్మా అండ్ బైజూస్, పాన్సోనిక్, ఇటువంటి కంపెనీస్ అన్నిటికీ ట్రేడ్ మార్క్స్, పేటెంట్స్ చేసే కంపెనీ ఇంటలెక్చువల్ ప్రాపర్టీ మేనేజింగ్ పార్ట్నర్తో వి గోయింగ్ టు హ్యావ్ అ పాడ్కాస్ట్. బట్ నార్మల్గా పాడ్కాస్ట్ మన తెలుగులో జరుగుతాయి కాబట్టి దిస్ పాడ్కాస్ట్ ఇస్ లిటిల్ ఇంగ్లీష్ బికాస్ తను త్రిపుర నుంచి వచ్చాడు కాబట్టి వీ కాంట్ ఆస్క్ హిమ్ టు స్పీక్ విత్ తెలుగు. సో ఇంగ్లీష్లో చేస్తున్నాము ఏంటి అనుకునే కంటే మనకు దీనిలో నుంచి కొంచెం సబ్జెక్ట్ నాలెడ్జ్ వస్తుంది కాబట్టి అలా చూస్తే ఇట్స్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ అ క్లియర్ పాత్ ఫర్ యువర్ బిజినెస్ టు గ్రో ఆన్ అ లీగల్ ఫార్మాట్. సో వై డు వీ యాక్చువల్లీ హ్యావ్ టు వెయిట్? ఐఎమ్ వెరీ ఎక్సైటెడ్ టు హియర్ అసలు తను ఏం చెప్తాడో ఏంటి. చాలా ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ నేను తను వర్క్ చేసినవి ఉన్నాయి, బట్ వీ గోయింగ్ టు డిస్కస్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్. సో స్టే ట్యూన్, వాచ్ ద ఫుల్ పాడ్కాస్ట్, బట్ బిఫోర్ జంపింగ్ ఇన్ ప్లీజ్ లైక్ అండ్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ ద పాడ్కాస్ట్. చేశారా? Okay, then let's go into the podcast now. It takes a lot of courage for me to say welcome to Intalks.
Thank you.
Because we usually meet every day, no? We don't tentatively have this conversation every time. But in the last 11 podcasts that we shot, it's completely on Telugu. So people might think that we tentatively changed it to English. No, we didn't change it to English because Adithya speaks only the Hindi and English. I hardly speak Hindi, so I don't want to trouble audience to help them understand with my vague Hindi. So Aditya, you and I are very good friends. We've been working on different aspects from a very long time. So thank you so much for coming. And today we are tentatively not going to discuss about finance or the stock market. We are definitely going to discuss about the intellectual property rights. So, a lot of people, for me or for you, when we come across a lot of brands, they don't tentatively see intellectual property as a must-have. It's just a good to have for a lot of people. So, just give us understanding of what do you do exactly in a whole, and what exactly is intellectual property rights to a business.
Sandeep, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Now, I think this is one question which I get on a daily basis. What happens is, I'll give you a very simple example. Now, when you ask what is intellectual property, I'll just start with the very basic. Now, when you say intellectual, when you say property, what does comes to your mind? It is definitely something like a land, like a building, right? Or the physical assets you have, right? That is a property, right? But what about your ideas? What about new innovations? Now, those are created in your mind, but how do you have protection on that? For lands and buildings, you have a document where you write down all the specifics of that building or that land, and you get it registered at the office, sub registry office, and you know that you're protected, right? But what happens to your ideas? You know, a lot of ideas have changed this world. Now we are sitting in this beautiful place, a mic is there. Now someone has created or invented this mic. Now that idea needs to be valued. So how it is valued?
Okay.
So that is how the concept of intellectual property came. Someone has invented some unique thing which was a requirement in this world. So thereafter, a incentive system was developed by the government, right? Therein, the government told that people can come out with a lot of innovations, new things which can change the world. In return, we'll give you monopoly rights. So when you have monopoly rights, you know that it cannot be misused and it will be used for the greater good of the community, right? And plus, it's a great incentive for you on the business aspect as well. So that is how the concept of intellectual property came into existence, right? So now when it's very interesting. So for example, you come out with a new song or a new story, or for that matter, a new logo for your business, right? Everyone comes out with a new logo or a new name for their business. Now, if you don't protect that name, then there will be 10 others using the same name after a couple of days. So intellectual property rights gives you that protection against these copiers.
Okay.
So that is how intellectual property came into existence, and it is helping every day to a lot of consumers, lot of creators for that matter. So in simple words, I'll just say intellectual property rights are rights which protects your intangible assets. So that is the basic about intangible assets and intellectual property.
Yeah. See, for someone who is in that industry, it's very much easier to understand. For example, for a very small business, so you're mentioning about a name. So someone has to register a name. So we all know, we all see R and TM across all the dashboard, all the billboards, and how important it is for a small business to get registered.
When you look into any brand for that matter, be it small or large or a medium scale industry, so let's take an example where a new designer have come out with a small boutique. Now, for a designer, their name matters a lot, right? That is what it sells in the market. Now, if they come out with a boutique with some ABC name, if they don't protect that name under trademarks, there will be other people who will copy that name, provided the brand is doing good, he is getting a lot of sales. There will be copiers who will come out tomorrow and use the same name, probably in the same street also. So you should have certain protections at your disposal wherein you can stop copiers like that, right? So when you talk about intellectual property, it does not mean it only applies to multinationals. It applies right from students to sole proprietorships, bakers, cafes, uh, seed companies, you name it, content creators, right? Nowadays, you see the evolution of internet. You know, there's a huge market for content creators, and on a daily basis, people are creating a lot of content, either for education, for advertisements, for awareness. So many things are there. So every content needs to be protected. Otherwise, uh, people keep copying a lot of this content which is generated on a daily basis. So when copyrights, which is another form of IP, which is given for protecting, creative content, unique and creative content. So that is where content creators can use the medium of copyrights to protect their content against infringers or copiers.
Okay.
So, Sandeep, I am from the northeastern state of Tripura, wherein still developments are taking place. So, basically, I am an engineer, a turned lawyer.
A
So,
lot of people turn engineers to lawyers.
true. So, what happened was I was always very curious since my childhood. I wanted to understand how a lot of things work and what are different things going around the world, right? And I studied in the northeastern part of our country, wherein you don't get to see a lot of upcoming business trends and changes happening in the global arena. So when thanks to my dad, he sent me out of Tripura to pursue my education. So when I went to various places, I mingled with so many different communities, different cultures. I understood a great deal about life. It really triggered that, okay, what else are there in the world? So as any other Indian student, you tend to go towards engineering. So yeah, I landed up doing my engineering. Post that, but I was never interested doing a usual software job. I wanted to do something different. I know, like, I'm an electronics engineer. There is still a lot of scope in that industry in our country, and it's ever growing. But I wanted to enter into industry which is niche and different, right? And I have seen that during the time when I was thinking of pursuing IP, I have seen slowly there was a shift in the industry, Indian industry, where a lot of people were thinking of doing something different, right? And that thing always triggered a question in me, that what I can do to work with these creators or these innovators uh, to help them. So it's funny thing, I thought about this during my engineering, but I didn't take an action. But I think after my engineering, I once again saw Three Idiots,
Okay.
and that that reignited the concept of IP. Three Idiots movie, they speak about the concept of patents in the movie. So from that movie, again, I thought about this subject matter, and I thought, no, I think this is something which I may want to pursue. And then, the whole thing started for me. I did my master's in IP thereafter, and followed by my law, and then ventured into this amazing industry. So that's how it started for me. Registered, it's fine, but for future disputes, I come across a lot of people that they come to me and they say that I've started this business and I'm getting a notice stating that I need to shut down this name or this brand. It's a very common thing which is happening on a daily basis. So there we understand how did they come out with that name or that technology. We do a due diligence and see what has led to this situation.
But when it comes to the name of business, not all businesses will be able to afford to have a good name, and they'll not even think about having a good name in the initial phase because they don't know whether they can grow or not. At that phase, how do you see IP for a small business?
See, now again, as I was mentioning, that any business for that matter, we come out with a name which we associate, right? Or we come out with a name which defines their business,
Correct.
right? But not necessary that that name can also be a good trademark, right? Imagine, uh, for example, say someone's business is a cafe, right? They are running a cafe,
Amro Cafe.
right? Now, if you remove the word Amro from here, it's just cafe, then it is a very generic name, right? It may define your business, but it will not create that uniqueness in the market. People will not associate your business with a certain unique quality. So it is very important to have a name to create that niche for you in the market. People have to relate to your business, what you are doing. So we have to come out with names which are a bit unique and new. Like if you take the examples of brands like very unique names like Google, right? Like Ola, like Nike. These are very unique names. Probably some do not have any meaning also. They are coin terms. Now, those are very good examples of having a good brand name. What the plus points are, people connect to your business at instance, right? They understand this is a brand. Second, you will not find many copiers. Normally, at the people at large, they try and use names which are very relative to the industry. Now, when you take a name like Zomato, right, probably no meaning, but it has created that likeness and niche for itself among the consumers. And you will not find many people copying that name also, right? But when you speak about, say, something, I'll give an example like the company Delivery, the the logistics company Delivery. Now, delivery is a dictionary word, right? And this company have used this name for the same purpose. Now, getting a trademark for such names are often difficult. And I believe as per the recent judgment, they have not been given the registration for this name.
I'm just recalling the recent discussions happening with Nainatara and Dhanush. There are a lot of speculations going on, and I'm still not clear. I'm very curious to understand what actually is that situation.
See, what happens is when a producer produces a film, there are a lot of investment into it, right? And as I just mentioned, there are a lot of agreements which are being signed, which includes confidentiality and ownership of rights. Now, when a film is made, lot of rights go to the producer because he's investing and he's buying lot of the rights for the whole movie. Now, in this case, as they have claimed that a certain footage, or I think it's a 3-second clip, has been used in one of the documentaries. So one party claims it to be a behind the scene shoots. The other party claims to be a video from their personal library. Now, the case is still ongoing. We have to understand which is right and which is wrong. But coming to the facts under copyright, if it is something used, if the content is being actually used from the movie production, right, then definitely it falls under infringement of copyright, which is an offense for which person needs to take permission from the owner of the content.
So the issue between Dhanush and Nayanatara is actually not a civil case. It's an IP case.
Right.
It's a infringement of violation of an intellectual property of a movie. So what's your take on that?
See, if what I feel personally is, if the footage which has been shared is actually a part of uh, the production, and definitely it falls under copyright infringement, which is a criminal offense, right? So I think the case is still ongoing and a lot of things have to be looked into it. So once all point of views are out, then probably we'll get to know uh, whether it's a copyright infringement or it is a use of personal video.
So from a basic business point of view, what actually can be trademarked?
Now, a lot of brands have captions or taglines, right? Like Nike has "Just Do It." Now, you've seen Nike uses their logo sometimes separately, and they use their captions separately. It need not be always together, right? So they have protected all aspects of it. If you look at our Indian IPL franchisee, Kolkata Knight Riders, now they have a lot of um, calls during the match. Korbo Lorbo Jitbo. Then they have a lot of variations in their logo designs. So all of those aspects they have protected, because this is a commercial industry. IPL is a mix of cricket and entertainment. So these things can be easily monetized by other people, right? If you look at a lot of movies also, which has hit a different cult following, right? Now people buy T-shirts, they buy a lot of merchandise of those movies. So it's very important to protect the movie name, the dialogues, the favorite dialogues. So in that is how we can protect. We can look into different aspects of protecting it. Like I don't know if you are a football fan or not.
If an entrepreneur have struggled day and night, brought one product into the market, and the other day, once the product is out into the market, within a week he will see the same amount of products with the same specifications coming into market by different brands. In this process, even though he has a patent, how much time does he have to put to stop them instead of selling this product in the market?
One of the ways a entrepreneur or a founder can do is that once he has identified that there are certain copiers in the market, immediately he should issue a cease and desist notice, right? Okay, I'll give you a step by step process what happens in this whole scenario. Say there's a startup founder A, and he has come out with certain brands and ideas and patents, which is very unique, and he has filed IPs for that, right? And as per your example, say a week has gone by and he sees that someone is copying it. The first thing what the entrepreneur or the startup founder have to do is collect evidence that the other copier is selling those items or doing infringement of that product. Collecting evidence is very important. We need to show that someone is copying. If we just go and tell, it will not make sense. They have to collect evidence, number one. In case if it's infringement done on platforms like Amazon or something like that, there is something called DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, under which if you inform the authorities along with your application or registered certificate, the platforms are bound to take an action. They will stop them. If they verify and they find out that there is a copier in their platform who is selling the similar product with the similar name, which is creating a confusion in the consumers, they will take action.
So how do you see it? How do you see as a small entrepreneur innovating something, and it actually is being copied in the market and he has no money to do it? Is government coming forward to support it, or are there any other agencies or companies who supporting this mission on helping entrepreneurs have the patented exclusively for them and being monitored?
Absolutely. See, the good thing about our government is they have come out with the startup initiative, under which they are helping startup founders. If you are a registered startup uh, company under the scheme, they are providing monetary benefits or subsidies to entrepreneurs who are filing for their patent, for their copyrights, for their trademarks. So definitely the government is, there are schemes where government is actually helping the innovators, the applicants who file for IPs. Only thing, again, it's a matter of awareness. It has to be brought out to the general public that there are certain schemes available which they have to pursue.
Okay.
I mean, we have come across so many startup founders who are taking that benefit, and it is not only for IP. There are several grants from the government to help you kickstart your business if you have a unique idea.
Okay.
Now, one of the criteria for registering as a startup is that your business have to be unique. It has to solve a unique problem, right? That is how a lot of new innovators are coming out with excellent solutions to problems.
Okay.
Earlier, that was not the case, but with these initiatives, with this, I mean, our prime minister, he has openly spoken so much about innovation, right? He promotes innovation, he promotes IP. I mean, I believe, as per the latest statistics, India stands fourth in the world in terms of trademark filings.
Oh.
So that's a huge number when you consider at the world arena. So India is developing on a faster scale. People are knowing about their rights, because business is no more only about creating and selling, right? You need to protect what you have created, right? You have to protect it and see how you can further monetize it. Like, there are so many companies who monetize their IP to a great extent. One of the biggest example I can give is IBM. Now, are you aware that IBM has a huge portfolio of patents in different industries? Normally, IBM is known for computers and hardwares and software industry, but they invest a significant amount of time and R&D into creating solutions in so many different industries. And when they receive the patent, they monetize, they license their patents to so many companies, and they generate a revenue out of it.
And coming back to the basic part, is IP all about only trademark, or does it have anything else to?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole gamut of subjects. So IP consists of several subjects, starting with trademarks, which protects your brand.
Okay.
Then we come to patents, which protect any technological advancements. It can be a product or process or methods. Then we speak about copyrights, which protects your creative content. Then we have industrial designs, which protect the aesthetics of any product. And now the fifth one is geographical indications, which is very interesting. I believe that it's not widely spoken about, but it is something which is very closely associated with our country. Now, geographical indications, or we call it as GI, are rights given to products which have got a unique inclination towards the geography of the place from where it's originated. So the first GI tag was given to Darjeeling tea, right? So now Darjeeling tea is a very unique blend of tea, which is cultivated in the city of Darjeeling, right? Now, why these rights have come into picture? I'll give you the understanding. Now, when cultivators in Darjeeling cultivate the tea from there, it has got the unique soil there, the water, the cultivators, the process of cultivating, everything comes into the picture, and then Darjeeling tea is cultivated. Now, what if someone from other city cultivates some tea in their city or in the agricultural land, and they brand it as Darjeeling tea. Don't you think it's an injustice to the cultivators of Darjeeling tea? So that is how the rights have come into picture.
There's a saying, no, Coca-Cola, the recipe of Coca-Cola is only known for two people in the world,
The
in the
brothers.
entire world,
Yes.
and no one, the both of them cannot travel in the same plane.
There are a lot of theories.
There are a lot of theories, yeah.
Yes. So whenever a company is dealing with a trade secret, they have to take a lot of precautions in order that no one should know about the secret recipe or the secret ingredients which are used, because that's how it's running in the market for so long. See, when you have a patent, the validity of a patent is 20 years. So once the 20 years are over, anyone in that country is free to use it, use the technology. Yes. So it has got a validity.
Okay. So once the validity is done, can we renew that or?
For patents, you can't. For trademarks, you can renew it every 10 years. Uh, Copyrights itself, it gives you a long-term protection. And industrial designs, you can get a registration for 10 years with a renewal, further renewal of 5 years.
And for those people who write books, no, who write books or the movies Pushpa, whatever you filed. So how does it actually work? So when someone writes a book, and does it come under trademark or?
So again, IP works for different products or services. IP comes together for a lot of things. Now, when you're talking about a book or a story, now under copyrights, there are multiple ways of protection. There's artistic work protection, there's a literature work protection, there's a cinematographic work protection, right? So when you write a book, the content can be protected under literature, right? You must have seen or heard about Harry Potter, right? Everyone knows about that. Now, you must not have seen other people copying that book. You have not come across other stories which is writing about those characters.
Correct.
It is because they have a copyright over the book, over the story. So that is how they protect all the contents in that book. It can be a book, it can be a screenplay of a movie, it can be a poem, it can be a painting. There are so many different attributes to it. So when a content creator or a writer in this regard writes a book, it's advisable to file a copyright and get the protection, because there will be a lot of people who want to use that content thereafter, right? A lot of adaptations are being done by filmmakers from books, right? So for which they have to take permission from the writer, right? You have come across so many movies which have come from books, right? So how that is done? It is because the producer or the uh, movie filmmaker, they take proper permissions from the writer and take the rights for it.
Okay. So for example, so Chetan Bhagat two states when he wrote the book. Right after he wrote the book, so the movie came. Movie two states came. So for the movie to actually come, the producer should actually take the copyright permission from the book and publish the movie after that.
Absolutely. See, what happens is, now a writer gives all his efforts into creating a good content. Now that has to be appreciated, right? No one should just come and copy it. So definitely, when in this case Chetan Bhagat or any other case where a producer or a filmmaker wants to make a adaptation from a book or replicate the same story, they have to take permissions. Otherwise, there can be significant damages. That is where, if you see in the industry, there are proper agreements done before any movie, right? When a film starts, there are so many agreements signed by every member of the unit. They sign those agreements, those undertakings. There are a lot of NOCs to be given. So everything happens in the backdrop, and then only the movie is made.
Okay. So if the case is ongoing and if any of the parties make a public statement uh, helping the audience understand that just because some disagreeing or the other party is not allowing me to use the content, isn't that an offense?
Yeah, see, normally what happens is there is a court system and there is a social system, right? So socially, yes, people speak about it, right? They want to um, indulge the audience to understand what is going on, which should not be done normally, because if it's a matter of legal dispute, it should be uh, taken to the court and discussed there, right? Because when you are not bringing out all facts to the public, then there will be a lot of takes to it. A certain section will believe a certain party, another section will believe another party. So these things will happen, right? Only in the courts we'll get to know what is correct and what is wrong when everything is put forward.
So one of the fascinating things I I've actually found it very interesting when Anil Kapoor last year filed his personality rights to not to use his image across all the platforms to protect himself from the memers, to protect himself from the social media, and also people use social media, his image on social media, but the personality rights is something that felt interesting for me. What exactly is that?
See, now when you look at celebrities, right, they carry a certain celebrity status with them. People associate them with their style, right? How they portray someone, people like the image, they like their dialogues, they like the way they carry themselves. Everything contributes to their personality, right? It's very interesting when you spoke about Anil Kapoor. He recently filed a trademark for the word Jhakaas. His unique trademark,
Oh,
right,
is it?
in all the movies.
Acha.
So in many movies, he has used the word on and off the camera, the word Jhakaas.
Acha.
So normally when he uses the word Jhakaas, people associate that particular word with Anil Kapoor because
Okay.
he has used in his movies,
Okay.
both in the movies and other shows and also.
Okay.
So people directly associate that with him. So that forms a part of his personality,
Okay.
right? If you look at Amitabh Bachchan, now his baritone is one of the most famous baritones in our country. Uh, Even if you are hearing KBC on a radio, you'll understand who is hosting it. Though people uh, may know who is hosting KBC, but when you hear his voice, people can understand whose voice it is. But what happened was there were a lot of gutka companies who were using his baritone in their ads. So which he did not want to be associated with. Then he protected his baritone, and after that he asked all the companies who are using his baritone without his permission to stop, and they had to stop.
Okay. Because he has his personality rights
Yes.
protection.
So you can see how IP has helped even celebrities to have control over the usage of their names, their image, right, their dialogues, so forth and so on. I can give you endless examples. If you look at celebrities like Shah Rukh Khan, Sachin Tendulkar, Paris Hilton, David Beckham. So all these celebrities, I've just named a few, but all these celebrities have protected their name because their name is a brand, right? For example, Shah Rukh Khan. Now his name can be used or misused by a lot of people to promote their businesses, right? That is why, see, you must have seen Shah Rukh Khan, MS Dhoni, Sachin, Ranveer Kapoor, Ranveer Singh, Alia Bhatt. They are doing n number of endorsements, brand deals, right? So that is because they have a protection, right? If they did not have a protection, then any company could have used their name without your permission. But because they have the protection over their name, over their trademark, over their certain ways of depicting few things, they have gained that popularity through that, and they have also protected. Some of them are protected for it legally. That is how any brand who is doing a deal with them, they have to go through that process. I'll give a very interesting, though it may be off subject, but I'll give you a very interesting example of franchising industry, right? When you talk about franchising, a lot of celebs also have a lot of brands. I believe there's a restaurant, Virat Kohli owned. So if tomorrow someone wants to open a restaurant with the same name, he cannot open it because they have a trademark over that name, right? Now, if you want to use that name, you need to take a franchisee from the restaurant. So that is how trademarks come into picture and help a lot of celebrities in this manner, or non-celebrities who are owning a particular brand, right? Now coming back to celebs, you know, there are a lot of rights which go along with them. One is the personality rights, one is the baritone of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, one are several dialogues. Now if you look at uh, Telugu megastar Allu Arjun, now he has protected his signature style AA, right? That is protected under trademark, and he is protected under multiple categories. Like previously I was discussing about how brands or trademarks are protected under different categories, right? One can be the image, the other can be also for merchandise, right? They have lot of celebs have their merchandise, lot of uh, celebs have their shows, right? They host lot of shows. So it all depends on how they are protecting those aspects of different things which they are doing.
No, I was hoping one day, for some people, we both work on the same lines. So in the process, I feel that legal system always plays an important role for the growth of any business. And once the business realizes it is actually, they actually might cross the limit, and they'll not be able to get the protection. I think it's very important for everyone to understand that if you have a very good product, protect it. If you have a very good name, protect it. And if you have a very good writing, just protect it. Because as you rightly said, one thing that we can carry it as an asset is always our intellectual property protections. And by the time, when your business is collapsed, you can still sell the patent.
Absolutely. See, I would like to bring out few examples how IP actually elevates the value of your company or the value of your product. I'll give you a recent example. Flipkart, right? Now, Walmart acquired Flipkart for I think close to 16 billion US dollars, out of which they paid a significant amount just to buy the IP rights of Flipkart, which shows the immense value creation of IP for a big of that for a deal of that size. So IP definitely elevates your company. You must have seen. I'll give you another example. Uh, Google bought Motorola, for a sum of I think 12 billion US dollars. One of the prime reasons of acquiring that was the huge and immense portfolio of patents under Motorola. Now, Motorola is a pioneer in telecom, right? When we first heard about telecom from Motorola, they were the first company which came out with all the biggest innovations in telecom industry. So they comprise of an immense high quality patents, right? Now Google was very new in the market in telecom. Like they bought a small company which created Android, right? And they wanted to have a big portfolio of patents in the telecom industry. So that is when they bought Motorola, and they got hold of a huge portfolio of patents, right? So here you can see how patents have helped a lot of companies, even after their business acquisitions, everything, how patents have helped them elevate to a next level.
And this, with this podcast, I think people will obviously understand uh, the importance of a trademark. If someone might actually missed out getting a patent, they might actually do a patent for them, which might actually allow their business to grow for a very longer run, in a longer run. And just before we end the podcast, we also have something called in promise, that's Intalks promise. So every guest who comes here uh, is an industry expert. So every industry expert, when they grow, there will be some time that you have to give it back to let the industry grow and streamline by itself. So you're not just growing by yourself, you're also growing the industry. So what is that one promise that you can give out from the Intalks podcast to your industry and to the students or all entrepreneurs?
So, Sandeep, I think this promise also is a very personal promise for me as well when I started in the industry. So, one of the things which I want to do is I really want to bring the awareness of IP in every district, every state in the country. Okay, because when I was growing up and I was doing my education, I was unaware of this. Had I known the impact of IP, I could have done a lot of things earlier, right? So I feel the importance of IP, the awareness of IP is very important. So I'm really working towards achieving that. I have already tied up with a lot of education institutes in bringing this awareness to the students because they are the next entrepreneurs for the country. So that is one promise that I want to, every day work on. I want to make sure that lot of education institutes, lot of uh, entrepreneurs get to understand what is IP and what are the impact of IP. That is one. And second promise I would like to do is I personally want to make sure that I'm working with at least 1,000 innovators or founders in the next 1 year to help them understand IP to their benefit and how they can have the maximum protection and enhance their business. That is something I would love to achieve it.
Wonderful, and I hope you will absolutely do this because you're already doing that. Your mission has been very clearly defined. You've been associated with a lot of educational institutions, and a lot of educational institutions wanted to collaborate with your company, not only for the awareness part. And I hope with the Intalks promise, in the next 1 year, maybe you will be able to fulfill that. And once you come back, we'll be able to help people after 1 year that Aditya from Intalks have promised this and have fulfilled this after 1 year.
It will be
And I'm
great.
looking forward to see that. But thank you so much, Aditya.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Sandeep,
much
for
once
having
again.
me.
Yeah,
Thank
to
you.
all the entrepreneurs as well, what I really wanted to say is from my end, because we closely work with each other. One thing that you have to understand is when you're starting a business, your mission is very important, and that is how the team follows it.
Yes.
And in the process of doing the mission, the money follows it. So that, I think most of the entrepreneurs feel this in a different manner. So they at some point of time, their mission is being bypassed by money, and their mission lacks somewhere. So you follow the mission in such a way that you follow it, you protect all the things, you build a great team, and the money follows you. And it's a long term process. I don't know why a lot of people are focused on having short term overnight success. But with this podcast, we wanted to help people, a lot of people, understand, success takes a long time. No, overnight success doesn't happen. Overnight money doesn't come for everyone. If it comes, it won't stay for a very longer time. But with people like you who have actually come from a different state and are doing a great things here, and people here also can do a great things in a different state, because India is a very diverse country with a diverse set of people. And with this podcast, I think in the further podcast as well, We wanted to help more number of students understand, guys, go for a long-term vision, not for a short-term one. And one of the important aspects is protect your IP.
Absolutely.
Protect your IP, because I personally feel protecting my IP is very important. Even I wanted to, I had a discussion with you, protecting my name as well.
True.
Irrespective of who I am, you can actually protect yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
That is
A lot of
open
people
for
are doing
everyone. Yeah, the law is open for everyone. It's not only for celebrities. It's not only for some exclusive individuals. It's for yourself. But thank you so much, Aditya, for coming to the podcast and enlightening us with the IP part. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for having me.